I mean, this sucks. I mean, this absolutely sucks. It feels like a playoff loss. I know the Eagles technically lost in the playoff, but this is a big old. I woke up today thinking that Bo Bichette was going to be a Philly.
Yep.
But 11:30, he's a Met, which sucks. And then, of course, JT's back.
Of course,
JT on 3 years, $45 million with an option for a fourth year. Because of course,
an option for a fourth.
I don't know if it's club. I hope club. Whatever. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of all of this? They are so cooked. It's not even funny. They might miss the playoffs this year. They're like they could keep it. Who cares? It's about to be 2012 again. 2012, 2013, when they're all old, they're all declining, and their one shot to save this was a 28-year-old right-handed hitter that just complimented the guys who could help carry them through the future, and he's a freaking Met. He's a Met, and they re-signed the catcher because he can catch the pitchers. Great. They can't hit. They are not good enough offensively. God, this sucks.
It sucks for a number of reasons, all of which you laid out. Look, it sucks because they got played. The Phillies got played. The entire thing with Bo Bichette was fishy from the start. Let me just take you back. Out of nowhere, every reporter on the planet said that the Phillies were front runners for Bo Bichette. Every reporter on the planet all of a sudden had the same report. Before the Phillies, Ike, even talked to Bo Bichette.
Right.
The Phillies, they didn't even seem to know that they were front runners for Bo Bichette. It was a surprise for them. Bo Bichette reaches out to them, which is weird. They don't even meet him in person. They meet him on Zoom. And I would love to see a recording of this Zoom because I bet Bo Bichette wasn't even at home on Zoom. It was on one of those Zooms that he forgot to do where he was in the car driving to the grocery store.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I love it. And the entire thing was Bo Bichette orchestrated by his agent to get the best deal possible. And the best deal did not come from the Phillies. And here is the biggest problem. And Jack, I thought laid out a very big problem that they pivot to the catcher who, by the way, won the negotiation, who did not seem to have another suitor anywhere, gave him 3 years at 36 years old. But here's the biggest thing to me is that there are a number of different ways to build a team in Major League Baseball. But the way that the Phillies are built, based on the players on their team, is they are building a team by signing free agents. That's mostly what they're doing. They're signing free agents. They want to be a big money team. They want to compete with the big money guys and do it that way. They have not built up their farm system enough to continue to regenerate talent. It has not happened. But the fact is that they cannot play with the big boys in this sort of thing. And the Dodgers and the Mets over the last 2 days have proven what you have to do right now as a big money baseball team. These guys want short-term deals with high AAV and opt-outs. That's what they're doing. It's what Kyle Tucker got.
Yeah.
It's what Bo Bichette got. And the Phillies are still out there making pretend this is 8-9 years ago where they can just promise all the years in the world and that'll get it done. But that's not what these guys are looking for right now.
Yeah.
And if you're going to play in the sandbox with Steve Cohen and the Dodgers and those sorts of things, then you have to play this by the same rules that they are.
Yep.
And they got outclassed by the Mets on this one.
Yeah, and the most disheartening thing with this is that you almost feel like the season is over before it begins. You wake up to what the Dodgers have already done with Kyle Tucker out there. They seemingly get everybody they want added to that team. So you're essentially fighting for the opportunity to play the Dodgers, hopefully in the NLCS and not early in the playoffs like we did last year, because you're running into a buzzsaw when you go up against those guys. And if you don't have the pitching to handle that lineup, you damn sure better hope you have hitting that can outslug that lineup, which is virtually impossible for any team to have when it comes to the guys that are in that Dodgers lineup. And that's why I look at the Phillies situation and I'm like, I just don't know where we're going from here from a championship standpoint, because that's not what you're in line to compete for. Other than the Dodgers sustaining multiple injuries to guys, I just don't see how we're competing with the Dodgers. Hell, the Mets roster is starting to look decent.
Yes, and they're turning it over, and they're making hard decisions. They're letting all longtime Mets go. They're making difficult decisions. And it's just like when you look at the two things together, and Jack outlined it perfectly. On one hand, you have Bo Bichette, 28 years old, right-handed hitter, hits .311, right?
Yeah.
There's Bo Bichette. And there's JT Realmuto, 36 years old, 700 OPS.
Why even resign him?
I have no idea.
Why even resign him?
I have no idea.
They felt like
need him.
They felt like they had to panic today and pivot and do something else. Like I would have rather JT just walked. Who cares? Who cares? You didn't bring JT back. You're not beating the Dodgers. At least you can save some money and like save it for next year's free agent class, which sucks, by the way. Next free agent classes are horrible. Like this was the guy. This was the guy, and they freaking pivoted for no reason to sign JT because they felt like if they don't sign him, then everyone's gonna be even more mad. I actually think they're more mad that they even re-signed him.
Yes, I would agree.
They gave him 3 years, $45 million. Who else was touching that? Who else was interested in JT Realmuto for that price? We're bidding against ourselves for the guy. He's third. It's infuriating. It's infuriating.
Yeah, and it seemed like
somebody that can handle the staff.
215-592-9494. So the Phillies, and then I went, so they lose Bichette, and before they had signed Realmuto, now I tried to block out of my mind that I knew they were just going to sign Realmuto. I was trying to block it out of my mind. And I'm saying to myself, okay, they had an offer on the table for Bo Bichette last night at almost $30 million a year. Okay, well then take that $30 million, go trade for a guy that's making, go trade for Ketel Marte, go sign Cody Bellinger. Like there are options of guys that are not 36 years old that you can go pivot to. But to take that and to not only put the $15 million for JT back on the payroll this year, but to have it next year and the year after. Because next year...
And the year after.
And the year after.
3 years.
Next year, at least Castellanos comes off the books and Taijuan Walker comes off the books, and potentially you wouldn't have $15 million committed to a catcher.
And Adolis and Bohm.
Right.
Like, there's a path to, like, really free up money here. Like, why not use the money to re-sign Bader? Like, if you wanted to do something to at least excite the fan base a little bit, re-sign Bader.
I'd rather have Bader than JT. Or
get in the Bellinger market.
Yes.
Our own Alex Call reporting that they are checking in on Cody Bellinger. Too late. I mean, it's not. I guess not too late. But it's not like they have all this money. The plan was use that money on someone real, and they just gave it back to JT.
Well, and also, how are you checking in on Cody Bellinger now? With what? With what money? Well, all we heard from the Phillies side, because you could see in the reporting which reporting was from the agent side and which reporting was from the Philly side, right? The Philly side reporting was all, we're cautiously optimistic and we're going to have to move a lot of things around. Move a lot of things around just to pay the $28 million. And one of those things they were moving around was not paying JT. Right? So they've paid JT. So that's $15 million that is already gone. So you're checking out on Cody Bellinger for what? To see if he'll come here for free? I don't even know. I don't even know how that happens.
I just don't know what the ultimate goal is here. I don't it doesn't feel like the Phillies believe they could do enough to make them legitimate title contenders. So this is where they sort of pivoted to and said, I'm just wondering, can they add something else with JT? You don't think they can add Bader now?
I mean, yeah, they could. But even if they add Bader, and I love Harrison Bader, he's probably not a difference maker. He was great last year. Mm-hmm. Would I bet on him having an 800-plus OPS for the Phillies again?
Right.
No, but I would rather have him here than not. I'd rather have JT and Bader, of course, but he's not a star.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just. If you look at it from the Phillies' perspective, if Bichette was going to be the guy that they signed, and then you got to go and put some also ran pieces around him. What does that do to the overall view of the team as far as how close are they with just that? I know you would have Bichette for multiple years. He's younger, so that's a part of it. But what does that do for next year?
Well, it adds a 300 hitter, right-handed hitter in the middle.
Yeah, but what does it do overall? Does it make you any better?
Yeah, I think it does.
Without JT?
Yes.
And you move Alec Bohm?
I don't think JT it makes a difference. I mean, he's a fine player, but from a bat standpoint, doesn't make a difference. Like that is ultimately replaceable from a bat standpoint. All right, 215-592-9494. After the Eagles season ends in shame, The Phillies, which we all thought were on the precipice of signing Bo Bichette, and not only that, he went to the friggin' Mets. Like, he went to the Mets.
Yeah.
The Met of all teams couldn't go to the Red Sox or something, or some team that couldn't go back to the Blue Jays. Had to go back to the friggin' Mets.